evening. How are you, John?
Evening. Well, how are you? That's good.
Good evening.
I'll just turn it down.
How are you, Brandon?
Well, how are you? Excellent. Thanks. No. Anything special going on today?
Just doing some more testing.
It's always special.
Is it the full moon today?
Yesterday, but it is quite full out.
Very full,
Yeah, beautiful.
Looks amazing. Yeah.
Was lower when I went out before. It's probably a bit further now.
So yesterday was officially Wesak Day, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. I was there on
Thank you.
Sunday.
Thank you.
60.
Yes, getting there.
Where are we going?
Yeah.
You're here already, huh?
John, just quickly. Put a statue in the corner.
What do you think?
Oh, pharmacy, huh?
A little bit sort of
Nice things.
angles.
Family.
Oh, okay. This way.
Yeah.
Maybe,
It's family. That's good.
Hi, George. Hey.
Is that
It's better.
good?
So, George and Richard, there's the notes from the retreat day are up the back there in that plastic holder.
Okay, thanks. Want to do them now or later?
Oh, because we'll maybe do a bit of a debrief.
Okay.
So if we have a read now,
Yeah, yeah.
still 10 minutes before people are fully here. Bring one for Richard.
Yes.
And can you turn the lights off? Maybe you still be able to read, I'm not sure. Top left.
Is that on?
Yeah. And George, just check us at the back is another retreat day, so they need to be at the front that you've got them. Just check that it's the 19th,
Oh, okay.
May 19th.
Yep, that's the 19.
Good.
So who else wanted one? Okay, certainly enjoy. I'll have to look at them later.
Also, if anyone has suggestions for what sort of solar lights could work well in the car park, get some solar lights down there so outside of daylight saving can see better.
The moon's full, it's fine.
In the meantime, a torch. Thailand, one of the major pieces of what is called borikan. Borikan are like requisites monks, nuns have. So apart from the requisites you need for ordination as a monk or nun, the other main requisite is a good torch, because there's no lights and there's lots of big snakes and lots of small critters as well. So a torch is really important.
Spare batteries.
Yeah. The batteries were rationed, so that often what monks would do, we'd in the morning going out at 3:30 or 20 past 3 to get to the meditation hall, or in the evenings, shine the light up. You see about 10 meters, looks okay, turn it off and just walk. But because the path always has roots of trees on, that's a tree root, but sometimes it might be a snake. Or that's a tree root, but it's actually soldier ants going across. Then you hear someone yelling out, "Oh, the soldier ants are up there." So they eat flesh. So one of the monks got his parents to send him one of these torches where you go like this, a ratchet, and it sort of, and it sort of makes a light. He ended up like, "Oh, I can't do it." It's just
Keep changing hands.
We used to use kerosene lanterns as well, which we'd have in the huts. But with the kerosene lantern, sometimes they get really smoky, or you don't really see that far ahead, and just around a small area.
Can monks have their own phones these days?
These days, some do, some don't.
So you get the flashlight on the
Yeah.
phone. So is that a personal choice now, is it?
Well, it's more like what the monastery policy. Senior monks may have a phone which they use for emails and things. Like yesterday, I received Visakha Puja greetings from Venerable Medino. He's a Dutch monk. He's been a monk for about 35 years. So I knew him in Thailand. He was junior to me. And then evening, disrobed, went back to Holland, kept 8 precepts, but then just said, I don't want to be in this worldly life, came back and reordained. He's now been a monk for 35 years. He's the one that sent the Buddha from Sri Lanka. He was in Sri Lanka for about 10 years. But so he sent out a Visakha Puja sort of happy Vesak. May you, on this auspicious day, receive the blessings of the Lord Buddha and all the Arya Sangha, and reach the peaceful bliss, Nibbana, that they, by their own diligent efforts, reached. Sadhu, 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 anumodana. So I responded, thank you, etc. Spoke about the meditation day that we had, and a bit about Ajahn Tiradhammo's retreat. He knows Ajahn Tiradhammo. And he's in Holland at the moment, then he's going to Spain, then back to Thailand, and he's setting up a small hermitage in sort of eastern part of Thailand. So he sent some photographs of some of the buildings that he's making out of rammed earth. So hence phone's helpful for him. He's outside of the major sangha, so he's traveling and moving around so he can communicate with people. But Venerable Metaji, when he was here, when he came last year, he had a phone, which was helpful because I could phone him at the airport. She phoned me, said, I'm in, and but this time he didn't have a phone, so it was just a matter of, I'll meet you there and I'll look for you, and which is challenging because I remember when I was a monk in England, and I'd gone up to stay in the monastery up near Newcastle, Northumberland, and I'd been asked to go and teach, give a talk and do meditation at in Edinburgh, at a prison. The monks were doing sort of prison chaplaincy, and then catch a train over to Glasgow, do the same thing there, and then back to Edinburgh, then back down from Edinburgh down from Scotland into England to Newcastle. And I was going to be met at the train station, but there was some sort of big football match going on, and there was thousands and thousands of people getting off the train, and like guys, hooligans sort of guys, and yelling out, and the guy that was supposed to pick me up couldn't find me. He said, "Oh, a monk should have a mobile phone."
Did you say I was the one in the robes? Why couldn't they see me?
But back then, the mobile phones were like a brick.
Yeah.
Evening.
So did you wear robes at the time when you were traveling?
Of course, nothing else to wear.
Nothing else to wear?
Just robes. Sam, anyone else behind you?
I didn't see anyone.
Okay. Justin said he and Kirsten won't be coming this evening.
Sally said she's teaching somewhere this
Ah,
afternoon.
okay.
She wasn't in it.
Mm. I had a visit from Sharon, the wife of Russell. Russell had died on last Wednesday. So she's put together the what do you call it? The order of service or something. Yeah. Which I printed out. She sent it through by email, and so I'll preside over the order of service and chant the Karaniya Metta Sutta, which I chanted on Sunday. She also brought over Russell's Buddha, which is about this big, lovely Burmese Buddha image, which we put on top of his coffin, and also the sort of shawl blanket thing that she put on him once he died, so which was on him all night. So we've got that as well. That'll go over the casket. So there's the funeral's on Tuesday. Down the road at Everon Crematorium and Gardens at 11 o'clock. So we might settle into our meditation. Sam, can I get you to maybe just close the door, not fully, but just nearly fully, just in case there's a bit of a breeze coming in there.
Sure.
Thanks. So settling into the moment, a peaceful moment by simply being present. Present with a calm, receptive, attentive knowing, developing our knowing of the moment, this now knowing awareness, freeing the mind from thoughts of the has been, the might be, of self and other, of this and that, of here and there, transcending time, even place, subject, object, entering deeply into that sense of presence, eternal presence, savored by each soothing breath, relaxing awareness into the body, coming to our senses, sensing being present, feeling the subtle energy in the body, subtle pulsations of the body, breathing, the pulsing of the heart, that sense of life and aliveness in the body. And particularly bringing a mindful awareness to the sensation of the breath, receiving and then relinquishing each breath. The mind not engaged in clinging, condemning, reacting, resisting, denying, distracting, just noticing, calmly noticing the inflow, outflow of each breath, resting in this attentive awareness. Each mindful breath, moving the mind to deeper peace, presence, calm, clarity. Please help yourself to some tea and biscuits. Sonia and Anton, you weren't here on Sunday, were you? Ah, sorry, I should have got George to get you a sheet as well. And also, Sam, you weren't here, and Peter, you weren't here. So there's the notes are up the back. Ivan, you weren't here?
No.
Oh, as well. Notes up the back.
Oh, I'm going to have, yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to remember who was here and who wasn't because people were here at the last one, but not the one before that, or they hear the one before that, but not this one. And so in keeping with our tradition, our meditation group tradition, so that after the Thursday after having had a Sunday meditation day, then to have what we call Ewa Me Sutang, thus have I heard. So to remember, to remind, to reflect, to reiterate, to share what we heard on the retreat day, just so that as a reminder for ourselves, as a reminder for those that were here, and also to share with those that weren't here as well. Has some discussion and reflection, and also any questions that may have come up for those that were here, any insights, etc. To be able to share those that we all continue to grow from these occasions, even if we weren't here. So the theme of the meditation day was meditations and reflections on mind, life, care. And I thought that was a good theme in that it, in a way, encompasses the whole of the practice, our personal practice, the practice that we have as a group, the Buddha's teachings as a way of practice. Certainly, the Buddha spoke about the importance of caring for the mind. His teaching, his dispensation was a practice to look into and to look after the mind, moving the mind from basic fundamental attributes or qualities to be able to appreciate the deeper, profound clarity, purity of the mind that's been trained. So in this way, his teaching wasn't so much a yoga of the body, it was a yoga of the mind. As far as I understand, yoga also relates to the word yoke, to connect. Anyone can confirm that? Yoga.
Union. Yeah.
Union. Yoking, connecting, which can also mean like training. You train an ox by yoking it. Certainly, meditation is a yoking or a yoga of the mind, to train the mind to be unified, to be in the present moment, to be certainly in the context of samadhi, one-pointed, focused. And so that the whole of the Buddha's teachings are about training the mind, because that's the fundamental element and domain that everything is contained within and that flows from that. The Buddha said that, as I've written in the notes there, mind is the forerunner of all things. The quote is, or the different translation, all states of being are determined by mind. It is mind that leads the way. Just as the wheel of the ox cart follows the hoof print of the animal that draws it, so suffering will surely follow when we speak or act impulsively from an impure state of mind. All states of being are determined by mind. It is mind that leads the way. As surely as our shadow never leaves us, so well-being will follow when we act with a pure state of mind. So the importance of really looking after, looking into, developing the clarity, purity of the mind, because our happiness, our well-being comes from that. The quality of our life comes from that. So in this sense, by mind care, that flows into life care. If we care for the mind, we're caring for our life. But life care can be something that's also more specific, caring for the quality of life that we do have. Certainly the Buddha spoke about the importance of morality, sila, to protect not just the mind, but also our experience of life, the various things that we engage into, relate into in life, the context of life, foundation being living in a wholesome, healthy, meaningful, worthwhile way. And the more we look after the quality of our life, that also flows back to the quality of our mind as well. So part of the quality of our life is regular meditations, which then protects the mind. Regular meditations helps to protect what we do with the body. There's things that we'll choose not to do in terms of actions or speech, because we know that's going to affect the quality of our mind. And the third aspect of the retreat day was appreciating the importance of care. So in this, even caring for the quality of care itself. So to be careful in how we care, to be caring of how we care. And this includes being aware or mindful, and even another word to translate sati, usually translated as mindfulness, but we could also use care. So if we are caring about something, do this with care, do this with mindfulness, so that care comes into that, and being caring or mindful of what we are caring for, even as a question, what do I really care for? What do I care for? What do I care about? And how do I care? Do I care enough? Am I caring too much? And certainly on the retreat day, there was discussion about caring too much that can lead then to burnout. One of the participants who was on the retreat day is a GP who has cared too much and is now going through cancer. So that she sort of resonated with that point of caring too much, wearing out, getting overwhelmed. So it's about wisely caring. So caring for the degree that we care. And also I mentioned about noticing or being aware of the intention behind the care. What is my intention in caring in this way for this person, for this thing? What is it coming from a sense of ego, self, or not? So to see sort of the intention there, because certainly that's where karma happens, in the creating that through intention. So being mindful, wise, caring in terms of how we care. And so these three elements in a way flow together, they support each other, and could also be seen as the elements of the Buddha's teachings. Caring for the mind, caring for our life, caring for how we care. And on the day, again, chanted the Karaniya Metta Sutta, the Buddha's words on loving kindness or care, as a foundation for spiritual practice. So that is a bit of a summary. For those that were there on the Sunday, any comments or ideas or things that sort of stood out as being significant? Brendan?
Yeah, I've been wondering, because I mentioned on Sunday too that, and you just brought it up, so generating good karma by intending to care for others, being careful how we do that. So is there any selfishness in that? So if I'm thinking, okay, well, if I'm kind and caring to others, then, oh, goody, I get all this good karma. So it's really about me getting good karma, even though I'm doing
Sure.
kindness for other people.
We could say it's subtle. It's subtle. It's better to do something with the intention to create good karma and merit to look after oneself than not do anything at all. But still, it's about checking in. To what degree is there a sense of self involved in this? And if the mind is unenlightened, there's going to be a sense of self there. But it's rather than being selfish, it's being sort of more self-preserving, self-protecting, self-nourishing in a healthy way, to the point where there's enough clarity and wisdom to be able to have insight into liberating the mind from being caught into identifying as the self. So it's an important step along the way to have that intention for well-being for oneself, and also the happier you are in yourself, then it does also then affect other people in a positive way.
And I think too, just to touch on faith, like one of the reasons that I want to be kind to others is because, well, that's what the Buddha taught. So there's an element of faith there as well.
Confidence
and
trust.
So I think that's got to come into those factors as well.
And for the self, having a sense of reward, it feels good to be kind and caring towards others. So because it feels good, then there's more that motivation to do it. Often my dog tickers out the side there when I'm seeing clients, and when they come out of the door, he's there on his line. He wants to be patted. So a chap that came out today, as he came out, Tigger was there, and so he was patting Tigger, and he said, if you pat a dog, then you both feel good. The dog feels good and the person feels good. So it flows on.
So I guess if there's any selfishness, it's a healthy selfishness, isn't it? And it's, I'm getting something, but they're getting something.
So what else came up as ideas or appreciations or understandings, insights on the day?
I just felt, listening to the comments that were being made in general, that the whole concept of compassion was being understood as something that was being given out all the time. And I really feel, from my understanding of the teachings, is that this was not that was not the teaching. Actually, the teachings were very much about directing metta to oneself and being wisely compassionate to oneself in the first instance, and from that flows wisdom in compassion and the way that that's put out into the world. So that was sort of a good reminder to me. And so since Sunday, I've been making that more of a focus of practice, because it doesn't necessarily come easily. Like, it's quite...
it's easier to be compassionate towards others than to oneself, though as you're saying, May, it's so important to have that self-compassion, compassion for oneself, one's body, and so forth, and that's where ideally it needs to begin.
Because one of the things about, well, this is my experience anyway of meditation, is that the longer you're meditating, the more clarity you're getting about your own, like, nonsense and your own flaws and your own delusions and all of that. And so, like, it's very much a two
Yeah, and that's
thing. Like,
that's where it's really important, that inner caring and compassion. That is the foundation for anything else, because you can't fully have compassion for others until you understand how these things arise within oneself. A sense of like compassion, with passion, feeling. So I'm feeling with you or feeling for you because I know what it feels like to have these states or these emotions or these pains and so forth. And as mentioned on the day, if it's unwise compassion and just energy out, that leads to burnout. With a little saying, first give in before you give out, otherwise you burn out. Peter?
John, I have a sister who was a social welfare worker. I have a sister who was a social welfare worker.
Yeah.
And she used to say you couldn't get involved with the clients because if you did, you couldn't be effective. So you had to really help but be aloof.
Very much so. And that's where, certainly in the context of counselling psychology, there's a saying when they teach counselling, walk in someone else's shoes, see what it's like. But I say to people, and I say to therapists and healthcare professionals, if you're walking in their shoes, what are they walking in? You can't walk in someone else's shoes because they've already got their feet in their shoes. So you can walk beside them as a therapist, as a healthcare professional, but don't get into their shoes, because then you lose objectivity, you lose perspective. And that's the same with relating to a partner, or relating to a friend, or relating to a child. It's important to maintain that objective space so that you can relate to, and rather than sort of becoming enmeshed and overwhelmed. Able to relate to and be able to offer wise compassion when and where it's appropriate. So can we see that mind care is really what meditation is about? And the more we appreciate the beauty and the quality of the mind, the more we're able to be attentive to caring for it. It's like having something that's wonderful and beautiful. Therefore, you don't want to sort of have it sullied or affected or dirtied, so that it's like protecting this special thing, the mind, or the heart, chitta. In Thai, they say, sawang sa'at sangop. So the mind, heart, sawang is bright, luminous. Sa'at is clean, pure. Sangop is peaceful. So the true nature of the mind, sawang sa'at sa'op. Bright, clean, and or bright, pure and peaceful. But it's the things in the mind that affect it in a negative way. It's like someone on the retreat day said, sometimes my mind isn't my friend. I have difficulty with this mind. So we can speak like this, but it's more what's in the mind, or let's say on the mind, that's the problem. The mind itself is like the true nature of this room: stillness, nothing's in it, still, silent, spaciousness. That the mind can be like the room, filled up with things, filled up with noise, filled up with movement, and loses its stillness, silence, and spaciousness. So meditation is enabling that true nature of the mind to be realized and known. Brendan?
Yeah, I was just saying, so I was reading a bit about views, and you know, we all have different views because we've had different experiences, and is that something else that our mind is filled up with these views, and I guess to be on the path is to break down those views to then be able to have right view and true
Samadhi,
understanding. Yeah.
as opposed to micchaditthi, wrong view.
Yeah.
So a view can become, depends upon how much the view is clung to. There can even be in a worldly sense a view on something that might be wholesome and good, but if one's clinging to it, then that becomes a problem, because there's ditthimana, conceit or self-righteousness in the clinging and the holding on to the I am right, this is true kind of approach.
So it's another thing to let go of, right? And was it just because I've always had this view doesn't mean it's right? And it's something that I need
or it may be right, but it's only one of a number of views. It's like I have a view of everyone, but everyone's having their own individual view.
So it might be right view from my perspective, but not from someone
right.
else's perspective.
So it's a different view, different perspective. And the only right view is no view. That's getting a bit philosophical there, or metaphysical. A 360 degrees omnipresent knowing, no view.
If there's no self, then there can't be a view, I guess.
And well, no one to view. There's no sort of reference point. There's just the
Processes.
omnipresent eternal knowing with no knower, no view.
Is that being the observer and not the judge?
Well, that's about even being beyond the observer. There is observing, but there's no observer. As soon as there's an observer, there's a reference point, self. I am observing. I'm not judging. I'm just observing. But that's still sort of in a place. If there is just the mental faculty of observing or awareness, so awareness without an awarenesser, it's like a thought without a thinker. So that taking out that reference point of the self, which is difficult. It's because generally there's always sort of that factor, seeing from a perspective, and that's the limiting factor that creates samsara, the whole sort of world of existence. Observing without an observer, knowing without a knower. Which certainly can be, well, can't even be experienced, because experience is again someone experiencing, but what is spoken about in terms of the formless realms in deep meditation jhana, that where there is the transcending of any sort of reference point. Neither perception nor non-perception. John?
Maybe you can enlighten me with a trick. On Sunday, when we're meditating, everything goes quieter and quieter and slower and slower. Monday and Tuesday as well. But then come Wednesday, as soon as I close my eyes, it goes like a mad horse. The mind is taking off like a rocket.
Where's it going?
Anywhere. Said I'm not going back there.
Well, when you wake up on, did you say Wednesday it's going?
It goes good for about 2 days.
Okay, so when you wake up on
It's very
Wednesday,
easy to come back to the breath,
Yeah.
and everything goes slower and slower and slower. But then Wednesday, It's like, no.
Well, the trick is when you wake up on Wednesday, just tell yourself it's Tuesday. Or Monday. Oh, it's still Monday.
I thought to myself, maybe I give it a mantra to sort of be busy with one sentence.
But obviously, it's something to work with because you've got that momentum, that mindful momentum from, say, the Sunday meditation day, and that flows on, and it's just natural that the mind's going to pick up energy and data, information, and thoughts, and beyond just that, like the mini retreat, a bit like Brendan spoke about being on a 9-day retreat, and then sort of coming back, and then sort of the adjusting to the busyness and sort of all of that. So that the mind does need to adjust, but ideally that it doesn't get caught up in that racing. Maybe ideally extra meditation as the week progresses, so that to remain on track, and also extra some vayama, right effort to, so if using the metaphor of the wild horse, so that's just like, okay, we need to harness this horse up, rein it in a bit, put a yoke on it.
Or just have compassion with yourself that this is impermanent.
That's
And
right,
this is
that as
just
well.
an example of impermanence.
Yeah. Things change.
You don't have any control over it.
Mm.
All we can do is keep practicing.
And it's pretty natural that for anybody, anyone that's been a monk for decades, if they're on a retreat, quiet, nice, and then after the retreat, that degree of serenity will sort of be reduced as they engage back into monastic duties and teaching and issues and emails and so forth. But I think the more we practice, then there's less disturbance, and it's a little bit better trained over time. Patience.
Wouldn't you just switch to like Vipassana meditation?
Well, yes, you could then move it from samatha to vipassana, just noticing, just even mental noting, thinking, bring it back, thinking, feeling. Certainly a great time to move into more that open, receptive awareness rather than trying to sort of be more focused. But right effort can be required. Effort is energy plus intention. Intention is to be mindful, stay present. Intention plus the energy.
So even those bad meditations, John, like you think, oh, this is not going the way I wanted it to, so I'm wasting my time, but you're still, like you said, you're putting in the effort. So there's still value there. You're still learning something, even if it's not as peaceful as you would like.
Yeah, and also noticing the desire to have a certain experience.
Yeah.
And also other things that can be supportive as well. Chanting. So in the morning, I come out and do my meditation here each morning, and I bow 3 times and do a little bit of chanting, and that sort of helps to collect and set the intention. Things like that can be nice. And it's a good thing that we have regular meditation days. And a Thursday night. Walking meditation can be really helpful as well, with the mind that is a little bit more caught into racing and activity, just to sort of even just pace out some of the restless energy, seeing it as one of the 5 hindrances. So just restlessness, agitation, or the mind going into thoughts of wishing, wanting, desire, or into aversion. Any other thoughts or questions or comments? We'll certainly do, for those that weren't on the retreat day, have a read of the notes, even just for inspiration, motivation, encouragement. And the next meditation day will be the beginning of the Vassa retreat, so the 21st of July, which is a 3-month retreat period, as a way of really sort of being able to put more extra effort into meditation and practice. And that'll be with the consecutive or four sessions over the 3 months. Full moon of July, August, September, October. Special time of year. Good. Well, thanks for coming out on this cool evening. They are getting cooler. That's okay. When it gets gets a bit more cool, I'll put on the warmth from the air conditioner. It's nearly winter. A week to go. So it's about the 1st of June.
Yeah.
Good. Well, have a great evening, and thanks for coming. Good.
It's done.
Good.
Thank you.
Good.